Hello everybody, Dickfig here, and welcome back to another reactions video. Today we're going to be going over Cyberpunk 2077's Night City Wire Episode 1. I have not seen any of these yet except for the recent special that just launched. So we're going to jump right in here. These are kind of long, so let's see how this goes.
You don't believe in
The wrong scene.
Every day digging the grave, stepping up to where the stakes, city of dreams, city of...
Still love that intro. Great soundtrack. It's gonna be awesome.
Hello and welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire, a brand new series from us at CD PROJEKT RED, where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077.
Is that a painting of in the bottom left there? I love people's backgrounds. I love looking at them. I know I green screen for other reasons, but like, oof. I do like seeing what people have around their office and their desk got full stall mirror. I still wonder what that's a painting of. It looks kind of like Japanese style. I don't know.
For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some braindance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm gonna go back real quick. I want that cockpit. So what's he doing down there?
Have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing.
Reaching down.
Media all over the world have
It's
been
like
getting
glitchy
hands-on
cord.
with Cyberpunk
Super early
2077,
gameplay, supposedly.
And when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check
That
out
gunplay didn't look as
exactly
good as
what
some
they
of the
thought.
other stuff I've
So,
seen, but we'll
let's
see.
get started. It is time to take a look at our
Wish
brand
I could
new
get hands
trailer,
on, but
and
who doesn't,
after that,
right?
our lead quest designer, Paweł Sasko, will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're going to have a few questions after watching this. So, let's take a look.
Trailer reveal. I've already seen this trailer. This is coming out after the fact.
I love this town. The city of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry pie?
I still love those big scenes. This again, though, I love the ads. They are repeating over there on the left, which I guess is kind of odd, interesting. I mean, I guess if there's only a certain amount of ads and you're paying for ad space, you could repeat yourself a bunch. And like, this is Moxie's street, it looks like, so why not?
Yeah, come on.
Still love that animation.
Just bigger. Nah, mano, not just any other city.
I love that. I really hope there's just this stuff going on. I now do know that this is one of the gangs. It's not just like a random bunch of hookers or ladies or whatever you want to call these nice, fine specimens of human beings here, beating the crap out of this guy on the ground. Sure, he deserves it.
The major leagues. We're only here.
I love the animations in the game. We're throwing on the table. It's done so well.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
So that looks like we're gonna have like video replay things like you see in Division, other things like that, where like you can walk into a room and reconstruct things magically and see what's going on. It's kind of what this looks like.
Same league as them. But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Is that like just gonna be one of their standard models in Monster? Because that was in the trailer we just saw too. Or is it the same lady? It must be the same lady. They couldn't have. I was thinking more like stormtroopers would be clones of each other, but I think that's the same lady, isn't that reason?
Unless you catch a bullet. Even then, you go out with a bang, right? You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
I just realized he's eating Chinese food also. Is that like a common thing in this game? I've seen a few people eating Chinese food. I didn't get a good look at this at the beginning. I love this drift. If we watch this drift, the way the car is bouncing a little, stumbling while sliding as it comes out onto the pavement, this looks so good. They have moments of glory with their vehicle driving that I noticed. Then there's moments where it's like, that's a bit weird. Like it almost looks like it center rotates. But this is one of those good clips, and I just punched the mic there.
You meant to come out in one piece? How about we...
Someday, we will have games where there's this much character animation, this much detail into them, and stuff in every NPC. It's gonna be crazy.
Over the plan.
Someday.
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Job's to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Still get the
They're
Hitman
a
vibes from that scene right there.
Some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ching, baby.
Invisible cup of water.
Goes without saying.
I want to see the smoke cloud on this vehicle.
Or
I'm
the afterlife.
super into the cars and everything, but like, I think it stems from Ubisoft, to be honest. Of their open world games could be so good, but their driving and car physics are so bad. Not to rag on them, but like they're just some of the worst driving in games, and it's like this needs to be good. It needs to be good driving to be immersive.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush. Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
Where did he bust those guns
Not
out
a one.
from? Does he have side
Sounds simple
holsters? No, he pulls them out of his jacket. Really, game? Like, I nitpick, I know, but like, really? We get this? Yeah, he just pulls them out of thin air. No holster, no nothing.
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you
Robot's
worry,
so cool.
no more.
Taking the legs off.
Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
So this trailer, we go back a few seconds here. It makes the combat look fast, like fast-paced, hyped. You're moving quick, you're gunning and running, jumping over, moving. Where that most recent Nightwire special with the Xbox gameplay, it felt really slow, didn't it? Like super slow. Like the guy was super creeping. He's even out in the middle of the open. He gets shot at, and he doesn't move very fast to get into cover. He uses grenades a lot. Nothing different I'm noticing between this and that.
Sounds simple enough.
This makes the combat look really nuts.
assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you worry, mi amor. We're bulletproof. Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
Can't stop digging Night City.
Fucking Major Leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
There's another thing I just thought of. This is from playing Assassin's Creed. It's fresh on my mind. I hope there's a good enough variation of melee finisher moves to make it not seem repetitive. Like, so if you run up to every single person with those arms, you stab all of them in the chest and lift them up? Or is there like a whole bunch of different, like, chop off legs, heads, arms? Just, I hope there's enough variation to make it fun.
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're
Cutscenes look so good in this game.
Dix, what the fuck?
Can't risk it, V.
And you, who are you?
I hope that's the character creation screen, because like
This
anyone else
could be.
gets some Fallout
And
4
you,
vibes, or
who
just
are
Fallout
you?
vibes in general, where you make yourself in the mirror. Keanu Reeves!
Fuck.
But the illusion version of Keanu Reeves. I just noticed something. I don't watch many reactions to it or anything, but the way Keanu Reeves moves matches your movements. Is he a part of you? Or are you part of him?
Fuck.
That looks like mirror movement. I could be wrong. It could be
So the
slightly
trailer
different.
contains footage from the game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So, Paweł, why
That is
don't
cool
you
for the
try and help
prologue.
us unpack everything?
Let's
that
see
we
his
just saw?
unpacking versus
Oh yeah,
mine.
I mean, absolutely, I can try. So,
I already don't like him that much because he's got those the AirPods in. It's fine. No problem if you got AirPods. I've never actually used them, so totally just a biased opinion. Just
what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests.
I like
what
him.
the
He's talking
trailer
about the game. It's
shows
fine.
you is
I made it
really
up.
our stage, the Night City. You know, this gigantic city
just love the open worlds. Cannot wait to roam
built
around
of
it.
6 completely unique districts.
hope there's a lot of cool
surrounded by the
things.
7th one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to
I think this is being played on PC with the controller, because it says press X, and people were talking a lot about wanting to see this ran on consoles. So is this being ran on PC while playing with the controller? Because like I said, it says X. I love their color scheme. I mean, I use it for this channel. I've used it far before this game, so like,
to reach out for something that is very precious. They were trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to Fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very important person in a social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands on the chip. But as you can expect, not everything goes as planned. And but
he's very socialite in the game, it seems.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mocs. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the Mocs is one of the gangs that player is going to interact with throughout the game.
I mean, they're one of my favorites so far, just from look-wise,
but... 2076, after death of Elizabeth Borden, she was called Lizzie. Now, she was an owner of a brothel and former sex worker, and she was protecting working guys and girls from harassment, from abuse, and the gang is really continuing her mission. And as a player, you are going to interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs.
Is it weird to say that they look and sound kind of like the good guys? I mean, they probably go about it in bad ways, but it's like if their primary goal is just to protect underlings from the people that would abuse them and stuff, it's like kind of a moral code driving them, but like
your own relationship.
I don't know how they work.
And understand what they are all about.
So earlier on, you did mention a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you to give us a bit more detail about the district outside of the city walls.
I look so excited.
Okay, so the Badlands is this like dead, dried out space going around the whole Night City. And as a player, you'll be able to traverse that space in your car or motorcycle. This is a space that is inhabited by the nomads. Nomads are...
That drive-through, man, it looks lived in. That looks solid. Like you're coming up on this little trailer park town. The power poles are slightly wonky. Like you see that even out here in the country.
Player, you'll be able to traverse that space in your
the cars, the graffiti, the trash builds up.
Car and more.
I don't think there's enough car parts in some of these little yards, based on some of the stuff I see around here. But I'm gonna nitpick here a tiny bit, because that's just things I do. Isn't that a lot of transformers on a lot of fully pimped out like power lines for the middle of nowhere in a small town? Usually it's like every few poles you get one box out here. It's possible that's just the future, and that's how much electricity all these new systems are pulling in, and there's all this other stuff that's powering off electricity and stuff, but like that's a lot of super crazy pimped out power poles. Such a small little neighborhood.
This is a space that is inhabited by the nomads. Nomads are living in different families and they are traveling across.
I'm curious how they justify that though, because if you drive down the street, at least as far as I've concerned in real life and stuff, it's like every 3 or 4 poles you see transformers on it. This is every single pole has dual transformers on
space in convoys made out of the cars and motorcycles.
It looks weird and off.
And as a player, you'll be able to traverse and access different type of open world content that has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome
I'm trying to figure out what mechanical repair or electrical repair you are doing in a car where you just unplug something from one spot and you plug it into another. That makes no real sense to me from my understandings of car mechanics, because that's presumably a negative, or is it just like some boost clock thing he's undoing or redoing?
Different type of open
I don't know what that
content
is.
That has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome feel of the Badlands as an area.
Still, like the fact that they cut car customization from what I hear, I don't know for a fact, but that's what I've heard and everyone got mad about for a while. These cars look so cool. It'd be so amazing to pimp out your own.
In the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now, he didn't look like he was from the Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
By the corporate?
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has been introduced in pen and paper in Cyberpunk 2020 by our senpai Mike
concept art there.
Adam Smasher is a fully converted cyborg. He is who was always...
That would be so insanely intimidating to walk in on that. It's just like a normal full flesh and bone dude. You walk into an office and this thing's standing there, or this guy, shouldn't say this thing. Ooh, you think twice about fucking around, stealing nothing, messing up. This dude just snap your ass in half. And like, if it is a place where they kill people and you know there's some like shady shit going on in the background, They might like grind you up, and this guy might use you for like oil or something. Who the heck knows? It'd be so intimidating.
Always a loyalist of Arasaka, and time has changed. And in 2077, he had to find his own space in Night City. But to find out, you'll have to play the game.
In this trailer, we do see some flashes of a Ripper doc called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous gameplays, they might remember him. But I'd really like for you to give the people at home some more information about what Ripper docs are and how they'll be interacting with them when they play Cyberpunk.
Assuming that people install cybernetics.
In our game, they are surgeons. They are like a specific type of a job in the social ladder of Cyberpunk. They are accustomed and specialized in replacing limbs to the metal ones. They can basically update your body, enhance your body.
Do I make fun of the guy? I probably shouldn't. He just said metal ones. Like, they're cybernetics, right? Am I crazy? Or can you just get straight metal limbs that like don't bend, move, have no mechanics in it? I'm rigid. That was just a weird terminology. Could be a language barrier. I don't know. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
change
something
you into this
odd.
walking war machine. And as a player, you are going to meet different kind of Reaper dogs in the game, craft your own relationship with them. Some of them are like important characters for a story. Through that, you will invest eddies that you're gathering to turn your body into this tool that allows you to survive on the streets of Night City.
Paweł, thank you so much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X.
So that's cool. Like, I wonder what these consequences are going to be for choices. Like, you can see here, it's actually adding like a new layer to your involvement, your role play, your character choices. And I saw this in the other decision and I didn't fully understand it. I thought I kind of, it was forming in my mind. There's multiple, so if you're talking to 3 people, it looks like there's dialogue options where you can choose to talk to either of the 3 or possibly all of them and focus who you want to try and chat up in a group. On this, like I said, he can role play with the glass. He can then talk to a specific person here. That's cool. I've never seen a game do that where you can do multiple things at once, where you could be like, drink to Night City while doing a conversation. So you're like kind of socially moving around and doing stuff. Just like in real life, you're not like, I'm moving around. It's my phone. I can do things while I talk, which is something you don't usually see in games. It's usually very animated with no choices.
And PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that soon.
To Night City.
Before we reveal our first look at the braindance gameplay and welcome back our developers for a chat, there is just one more thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret for a while.
In secret, everyone!
We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger and Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk EDGERUNNERS, a standalone anime set in the Cyberpunk universe, which we've been working on for some time now. EDGERUNNERS is due to launch in 2022, but for some
2022. Like, it's awesome. I look forward to it. I'm going to watch it because I like anime. But like, 2022? I love it. You know what it actually says? It says, we made a great game. Like, the best game. Witcher was a huge success on Netflix. Let's see if we can make this other huge franchise, which we believe in, we are going to back, we will support, we will make amazing, we will make this a legendary game just like we have The Witcher. 2 years from now, we're releasing a TV show on this game. That is confidence. It's, we're good, we got this. And like, it should instill confidence. Like, there's a large group of people here that think they've made it. And it makes me believe.
For more information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
Tron vibes.
My name is Saya Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for Cyberpunk EDGERUNNERS. What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. So it was always a dream for us to make anime. When we began this project, we were certain that we didn't want to make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk EDGERUNNERS is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole.
Love Cyberpunk. It might be my second favorite genre. Like post-apocalyptic games are my favorites. And futuristic sci-fi, maybe it's third. They're kind of all tied. I love post-apocalyptic, I love sci-fi, futuristic, and I love cyberpunk.
Right now we're in Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the dream team that will be bringing you this anime.
こんにちは。トリガーの代表取締役。
A lot of people don't know this about me. I've actually lived in Japan. Not good Japanese. I was a child when I lived there. We used to bike ride everywhere. I have books and books of collections of their little phone cards. I don't even know if they still use the phone cards over there. We used to ride around our bikes and find all the expired ones that people would leave on the phone booths and collect them all. Just something we did for fun. I've wanted to go back. I even talked to my wife a while ago about moving there when we were trying to figure out where we wanted to settle down for life and stuff. I love Japan. I love anime. I love all of it.
キャラクターデザインを担当する吉成です。ゲームのサイバーパンクのファンの方、今回初めて触れる方両方に満足していただけるようにアニメを作るつもりです。よろしくお願いします。今回はそのサイバーパンクという僕らが10代の一ファンにしか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル、そういうジャンルのものをまた、時代が何周もして作れるというのが非常に楽しみです。トリガーも10年
I love how heavily they're investing in this world.
キャラクターデザインに吉成というトリガーの最強の夫人で、トリガー10周年にふさわしい作品にしていきたいと思います。お楽しみに。
Oh, that's a little snippet. I like their art style already. Looks really cool, interesting. A little bit different too, but cool. I'm guessing super rough drawing because it looks a little pixelated around the edges and stuff, but overall I like the shading, the throw together, the cybernetic implant side of it. And like my favorite anime of all time is probably Ghost in the Shell. I love it. I love it with the passion. I love the major. I love the character. I love the development. And I'm hoping this can kind of go there in that same sort of way with the cyberpunk and the futuristic androids and everything. Oh, still want the little tank diecast doll. Wow, I can't remember the name of the tanks now. Embarrassing. We're going to continue. Tachikoma. I really want a Tachikoma diecast at some point. They used to make like decent sized metal ones. Oh.
Now it is time to show you some gameplay of Braindance. This
like I just want to sit here and talk forever. I can't hype it enough. I think this should be the future of huge AAA hyper polished universes, especially if you're going to create a new IP. Like what they've done with The Witcher, bringing it into TV and anime and making it a whole universe that lots of people can be engrossed in. I think it's wonderful to invest in these worlds and like take video games from just a gaming thing to like a whole cultural world, kind of like Star Trek and Star Wars, where you've got TVs, games, like it's this whole encompassing thing and toys and everything. I think it's where we're headed because it's such an amazing interactive medium.
This is a feature that you'll experience when you play Cyberpunk 2077. Braindance is essentially a recording of somebody else's experience. It allows you to relive their sense of sight, smell, touch, and even hearing, all thanks to a special device. After the gameplay, I will be welcoming back Paweł Sasko, and will also be joined by Patrick Mills, our senior quest designer and all-round lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation on how you'll be interacting with Braindance when you play Cyberpunk 2077. So, let's take a look.
Kind of creepy. You watched my Night City Wire special preview where they showed one of these clips of these things. I nailed it dead on with what it was, how it'll work. Like, that's kind of creepy, and I never knew anything about it. But like, well, modest pat on my back there. You know, kind of proud of that. Wasn't wrong on that one.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd.
Does he have a hard plastic mask that's flexing when he talks?
Let's take a look.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the...
So his mask looks hard, shiny, and metal. I could be wrong on what it is, what the materials are made out of, because it's the future, but like, it's flexing when he talks. And like a mask like that, when you talk, it moves. The whole thing moves. But just the jaw area, it's like they built that onto his model, and they animated it, and they didn't make it a separate entity. Like, it's actually part of his character, and it's moving and stretching as if it was an organic mouth part, not like a hard face covering. Like, when I do this, my hand doesn't stretch and close. It shifts around my face. Little things. It's just things I noticed. Not a big deal or anything like that, but...
Got it. And remember, everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra.
Because it's definitely not part of his face. It's not like a cybernetic implant or anything. Like, it's got the straps
everything
around the back of his head. Like, it's a stuck-on mask.
On full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline high.
I hope you don't have to be stealth in this game, because I'm gonna rickroll some fools. Well, that's a way to hand someone a gun. Also, does he have cybernetic hands, arms? Is there some robotic stuff there? So the way he flips that gun around and catches it, magazine sized out and everything, it makes it look like it weighs nothing. But guns aren't light, unless this is like hyper futuristic carbon fiber materials. The rounds are super light, especially if it's a fully loaded mag. He should have had more animation in my mind of the like down, like when you catch something heavy and it pushes your hand down, throwing it around like that. He doesn't grab it with many fingers. Just guns are meant to be balanced like here on you, and their weight balance is actually quite amazing. You can like balance it literally on this part of your hand sometimes, and it'll actually stay there. I'm super hyper analyzing this, but that looks so light the way he flips that around.
Okay, on you go.
And it doesn't look like he has organic or cybernetic hands. They just had no weight to that gun. Like, you look at a pistol and you pick it up and you're like, oh, that's really heavy. And it's part of why it's hard to... You have to be very amateur with firearms if you can't tell the difference between a loaded firearm and an unloaded firearm just picking it up. The rounds weigh a lot. Like, the percentage of the gun, like, it's a noticeable difference.
Grab what I see you kissing the flooring! Money! Now, or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God!
We're gonna go back. This is something I've noticed multiple times in this game, but I'm gonna make sure. He racked it. Round in the chamber. Unless he didn't check it to make sure there was actually a round in the chamber. I've seen this multiple times in some of their trailers, and it's fine. It's not like totally immersion breaking, but like it's almost unacceptable for how detailed and polished they say they want this game to be. This dude just racked the gun, so theoretically there should be a round in this. Obviously he looks like an amateur. It's his first time robbery, so like checking, pulling the slide back ever so slightly to see if there's actually a round in there, or if this gun has a chamber indicator. He doesn't check any of that. So he racked it out here. We watch him walk in.
Down, everybody, on the ground.
You can hear the nervousness in his voice. Amazing voice acting here. This is great for first-time robberies. No trigger finger discipline at all. Also indicative of this super first time, super nervous, like adrenaline high, not thinking 100% straight. First time robbery thing here is amazing. But
I see you kissing the flooring. Money now.
So bopping her with your finger on the trigger very well easily could have discharged this gun.
Or I will
and he racks it again right after he hits
fucking
it.
Drop you, I swear to God. Whoa.
Oh, I went back.
Down, everybody, on the ground.
I'm making one more time, make sure I'm not wrong.
Money now, or I will fucking drop you.
No round came out the chamber. So either they gave him an empty, non-loaded gun, which they very well could have, just for the dramatic effect, or they fucked up. The devs just messed up. Like the animator did the first part, went away or took a few days off or went on vacation and came back and was like, where did I leave off? Oh, this will be cool. Redoes the cock and just doesn't register that already cocks.
Yeah, hey, now, before I blow your fucking head off!
Wait. This guy's empty a register with a stack of bills already pre-wrapped?
Fucking head off!
Who keeps their bills in bands in their cash register? That's not how you keep a cash register at. What?
Ah!
And there was a gunshot there.
Slow, deep breaths. Your
So it was a loaded gun.
adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
I'm gonna clarify here. I love Cyberpunk. I'm looking forward to it. It's the most hyped I've ever been to a game. I like to nitpick. I like to notice the little things, but like it's no real major criticism. It's just little things that devs overlook in busy and stress and work and everything.
That was too much. Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Mm-hmm. Probably took a booster just before. You'll be fine. Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing.
That would be a very interesting concept. So, like, I'm kind of a straight edge guy. I mean, I've done a bunch of other things that aren't straight edge, but as far as drugs and alcohol, I always kind of kept it under control. Never really got involved in any of it. But like, it would be fun and interesting to be like, you know what? I can just relive it through someone else, and I don't have to do it myself. That would be fun. That'd be very interesting. Keep full control of myself, yet still experience it. Nothing against it. You do it. More power to you. I honestly have no moral high ground. It's just never been into it.
Full cam control in analysis mode, so move around, zoom in and out, whatever else you come up with. Think of it as your own little sandbox. So analysis mode, you control playback, can even pause when you feel the need. Then you use the editor console to unpause. Try it.
See, they're doing it on controller again. Do they really run everything on PC and use controller? I mean, there's people that are better on controller than they are on PC, and or mouse and keyboard. There's people better on mouse and keyboard than controllers. So I have no bias towards it. If you want to use a controller, more power to you. It's whatever you're best with. But like, it just seems odd because they talked about showcasing console play in that latest thing.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio. Got it.
This is interesting. Like, I watched it from their point of view, and now I'm watching it from outside their point of view. What? I guess I'm curious what the point of the editor is. Am I looking for more information? Is this like a missed interactive puzzle-solving kind of game to find out pieces of things? Which is a really interesting play on it, and quite cool, actually.
Cream as hell, right? Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or rewind, whatever you like. Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top. All good, neat. Now try fast forwarding a bit.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't be creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out.
Okay. You can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to the beginning. Try it.
Oh, I'm putting this little scene together again. He went to go in to rob the place, and he didn't have the gun. So the other guy grabbed him and was like, "No, you're gonna need a gun." And this dude is so on edge.
Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD roller.
Gonna call it now that I called it earlier when I said, like an interactive myth thing to figure out mysteries from this view panning around the world. Ooh yeah.
Focus on the heat. The gun this gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning. Now scan it.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash.
Let's focus on the gun that can be double cocked to not eject around. Is that what we're talking about?
Okay, right here. Excellent. Let's move on. Now heads up. In analysis mode, you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough. This tech records everything, every little detail, even the sights and sounds the roller was never aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that now.
Ooh, we're pulling up some audio layers here.
Good.
Oh
Now
no.
you should see several sound signatures in the store. Choose one and hone in on it.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and
I need to say it. That scanning timer when you mouse over it, that's so common in games. If they make you do it enough times, it gets so slow, so tedious, and so everything.
Sound signatures in the store.
Like when he messed over this, you're looking at 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. It's great in these little trailers. It's great in previews. It's great in small quantities. But like if this is going to be a common thing with like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 audio sources, it's almost like a minute of your life you've spent just waiting, staring at that scanning thing. And the attention span of modern day people and gaming and how rapid the world moves and our brains, like that's enough time to make someone like want to pick up their phone and look at it or something. And I get that it's kind of sci-fi and loady. Like at the speed that technology is developing nowadays for load times, shouldn't take that long. Like if websites took that 4 seconds to load and stuff, that would feel slow to us nowadays. Never mind in the future. I know it stops. I don't know. I'm nitpicking it, but like I've just experienced that in too many games. And like Ghost Recon Breakpoint had auto looting when you ran up to things, auto pickups. And it was so nice to not do that repetitive, small, like, pause animation every time. Super nitpicky, but, like, just something I've noticed and my thoughts on it after, like, 60,000 hours of gaming in my life.
Everybody!
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
Yeah, it's how BD recording implants work.
It is really cool.
Everything, all the elements in the background. Then an editor tweaks them. Makes them pop. Keep playing with the sound, explore it a bit. We'll move on when you get bored.
You can see these controls right here.
Sometimes you can analyze extra layers in the raw. Stuff the roller's cyberware picked up.
Like what?
Ev's got Kiroshi optics that grab infrared, meaning you should be able to grab heat signatures from her recording.
Huh. Hella nice.
Scanning works on peeps, too. Walk up to the wounded chick. Try scanning her. Alright, next thing. Scroll.
They did it there. They like, just like they just took my feedback and were like, we got you, we fix it. Because you moused over her and it was like, beep. Like, that's an acceptable time, I think. You already took the time to mouse over it, scroll over to it, control, like whatever you're doing, pan over to it, and that was like enough time. You didn't need to also have the beep 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 bing. Here's your info.
Forward to the part where our artist gets a lead injection.
Or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God! Well, now, fucking head off!
That double cock though. That's such a small overlook, but it's like kind of a big overlook. Like it totally takes you out.
See that? They shot him and he never saw it coming.
No, we didn't.
But you will. Here it comes. My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance?
I mean, it's not unrealistic. Like, if you have people with licenses to carry and everything, and you walk into a store and the dude's got a gun waving in someone's face and you're hiding behind a thing, just never saw it coming. It's the wrong place, wrong time.
Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it. His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit.
It'll be interesting. Hopefully they don't overwork it, because it could be kind of tedium in the middle of things, but it's really cool.
It's too bad most of the BDs we do here are only good for flogging the log.
So braindance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's two sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe, and then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz. It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077 it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it...
I wonder if this technology went like military to government use to adult industry, then into like video games and everything else. That's probably the trek it took, because like human history, man, adult industry
actually dies during
be used
the
for
recording.
sex, we'll use it for
and
it.
It's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but a mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to...
I personally like it. I love these little breakups from the running and gunning and all that stuff. But like this whole interactive puzzle genre, or like mystery genre video games, isn't the most popular. So like I wonder if these kind of investigations are going to turn some people off. Some people are going to think this is too slow, kind of like Red Dead Redemption and stuff, but like then you're going to have other people that fucking love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have no problem with it. I think it's going to be really cool, like a little different aspect to play down and figure things out, as long as it's done right. But I'm curious the mainstream and the younger group.
Different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Paweł was saying, we use braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough side.
I like what he's saying there. I like when they go into those deep dives of like human and like try and, it's not so much educate people, but like point people, other people's perspectives out to people, open their field of view, and like it's something video games can be very, very good at, and actually like change the courses of people's lives on which careers they go to and other things, because they saw something so interesting and we're like, oh, that actually happens.
Streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know, what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their fun.
I've noticed it a few times in a few clips. Really don't want to nitpick too hard, but it is something that I'm keeping an eye on, and I'm kind of red flagging as potential warnings and weird things to me. And it's the bullet sponge of enemies. Like, I was a huge proponent of like 1,000+ hours in Division games, and those games got hated on for the bullet spongy. But watch shooting this guy.
And all of these events and all of those things. But those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, he took like 7 bullets, maybe like 4 of them land.
But those don't
and his
mean
HP bar,
unless they connect with characters.
So there's 3 damage numbers. So he took 3 rounds. He's at a quarter down. So you're looking at least 12-ish plus rounds, not including what you miss. Kill a level 7 enemy. Is there any indicator? So I'm assuming the 12 in the top left is our level. That's just usually where you would put something like that. That could be totally not what that means. But like, gunplay looks good, the combat looks fun. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's got that RPG aspect to it where you probably get better guns, better this, do more damage, do less damage, as expected. But like, you're almost fighting something half your level. You've hit him with 3 rounds, given they were arm shots, so there could be much more damage for body shots and or headshots, which is fair enough. It's legit. But it's just something I've noticed. I have to sneeze, kind of, sort of. Figured itself out for the most part. I don't know. It's just something I've noticed, and it red flags for me as, I don't know. And I want to see bullet pen. Show me some bullet pen.
Characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like? What was their upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality? And did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them? Or did they not overcome them? And why? And you can see all of those things in their environment.
Love the character building they're talking about here. They make you like really attached to people and feel bad for people and get some feels. Again, I don't know how certain portions of the gaming community will feel to it, but there'll be a core cult following for sure.
In their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're gonna see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
Beautiful. I love that kind of character development. Like, build your freaking characters. Doesn't matter if you're going to use it or not. Make them a backstory. Make them this. Make it so your voice actors can get into their head. Make it... It just adds like this... I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like this realness to your voice actors, your character, the way they're animated. Like, everyone just gets more invested in them the more they know about them. It's not just NPC 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 74 6B. They're like actually become story characters that the people care about, and they make... It just makes the game so much better when you write full backstories and like small books on some characters.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us
throughout
since
some
the
Witcher
3
names.
We really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them...
Like a shotgun pistol this guy's shooting at?
Everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience.
That headshot damage, how much more was that?
We have learned so much, and we have used...
The 31's 31, so this is looking like a shotgun kind of pistol, because it looks like it's hitting multiple targets at once. And then a headshot from one pellet was 167 and 136. So it does look like if you're headshotting people and everything, it does a lot more damage, which is good.
All that experience to put
that
them
tankiness
into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like, everything has a meaning. Like, we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way.
It sounds amazing.
And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Paweł, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa. and I'm a quest designer, so you know. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. And I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. Yeah, well, you may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
He just redacts everything
Paweł and
himself?
Patrick,
What?
thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they...
That bounce on that suspension looks fucking beautiful!
Media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon.
People that have been hands-on
And
say
finally,
it's good.
on behalf of everybody at CD PROJEKT RED, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
Well, you guys asked for it, you got it. 52-minute reaction on Night City Wire episode 1. I actually kind of like that. Some people criticized me for doing later stuff before I've done this, but like, you gotta stay relevant in this market. So I'm filling myself in now, and to be honest, I haven't been that far off on anything. New to the whole reactions thing, it's interesting to me to see my abilities to see little snippets of things and be like, just like zoom out. Big picture, what does this mean for the game? What do these controls mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? How could this all work together? Boom. It's fun. I'm really enjoying this. Let me know in the comments anything else I should react to. I already plan on doing episode 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think there are of this. Oh, I'm a fat guy. I'm out of breath. I'm standing. I'm trying to lose weight. It's been going really good. Damn it. Lung capacity. Let's get it on. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Dig Fig out. On my desk here. A guy making videos. Still here. Thank you all for the support. It really does mean a lot. Bye, guys. Woo!